Hello everybody and welcome to Notorious Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm Notorious Cly, and this is the first video in a series I'm calling an introduction to Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend. This series of videos is going to be a primer of sorts for my favorite deck, my favorite archetype of all time, Resonators, Red Dragon Archfiend, whatever you want to call it, just know it's the thing that exists in the Jack Atlas ecosystem of cards. I really wanted to make this series of videos for a few reasons. First and foremost, it's my favorite deck, my favorite archetype of all time, and I wanted to share the joy that it brings me with all of you. Secondly, the archetype recently received some new support in the form of a structure deck, at least in the LCG. The TCG does have the structure deck confirmed, but the contents aren't exactly finalized yet for us. That structure deck is set to release in September, and I know we're a little early, but I figured getting this information out here now and early gives all of us plenty of time to mess around, experiment, playtest, and lab up the best Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend list we can find. Lastly, I really wanted to use this series of videos to introduce all of the new support to you and revisit some of the older support that you may have forgotten about or never even bothered to read in the first place. If you all want to see more videos like this, or deck profiles, combo videos, duel replays, or even just theory crafting, or me rambling in front of the microphone for a half hour about nonsensical things, please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot and I would really appreciate it. Also, a great way to ensure that I'm making the type of content you want is to like and comment on the videos. The more likes, the more comments, the more interaction a video has from all of you, the more I know that you're interested in what I'm doing, and that lets me know, hey, stupid, do more of this stuff. I think that's enough for the intro. Let's kick this video into overdrive. I felt obligated to do the Jack Atlas Victory Fist. Don't roast me too much for it. In this first video, I plan on talking about the new support because it's really good. It does a lot of heavy lifting to bring the archetype up to modern speed. And the first card I want to talk about is probably the most important card released for the archetype, Soul Resonator. Soul Resonator is a level 3 Fire Fiend tuner with 500 attack, 200 defense, and it has two effects. The first effect, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one level 4 or lower Fiend monster from your deck to your hand except Soul Resonator. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn, except Dark Synchro monsters. And its second effect, if a card you control would be destroyed by a card effect while you control a Red Dragon Archfiend or a Synchro monster that mentions it, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. You can only use each effect to Soul Resonator once per turn. This card is absolutely incredible. I don't think I need to explain too much to all of you how good being able to search any level 4 or lower Fiend is. That is such a wide search pool. And fortunately for us, Konami gifted us some incredible level 4 Fiends to search with the new support. Soul Resonator's role in a Resonator deck list can be both as a starter or extended, because it gets its search effect on normal or special summon. As a combo starter, it is part of a 1.5 card combo that allows you to end on 2 points of interaction, one being Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, the other being a live Red Zone. Red Zone's another new card, but all you need to know for right now is it's a continuous trap card that allows you to pop a card every turn. 2 points of interaction for 1.5 cards is incredible card economy and efficiency, and the combos only get crazier and more elaborate the more cards you add to it. The 2 card combos that Soul Resonator is a part of are really good, and something I'm really excited to show off in upcoming deck profiles. There's a couple things I want all of us to keep in mind when we're thinking about Soul Resonator, and first and foremost, it's a fire type monster with 200 defense, which makes it a rekindling target. I have yet to find a good use for Soul Resonator and rekindling, but the fact that that exists is incredible. Another important thing to keep in mind about Soul Resonator is it's a level 3 tuner. The best lines of play, the best combo lines for Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend still involve the tried and true level 2 tuner, level 4 non-tuner. And Soul Resonator being a level 3 can make that a little odd at times. Fortunately for us, Konami printed a card that can be searched by Soul Resonator that fixes all of those issues. And now's a good time to be talking about Bone Archfiend. Bone Archfiend is a level 4 Dark Fiend with 1800 attack and 0 defense. And it has 2 effects. The first effect, if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can send one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard. Special summon this card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Dark Dragon Synchro monsters. And then its second effect, you can target one face-up monster you control, send one Fiend tuner from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and if you do, increase or decrease the targeted monster's level by 1. You can only use each effect of Bone Archfiend once per turn. So Bone Archfiend is a searchable level 4 non-tuner that can special summon itself for a site cost. Please keep in mind that special summon can also happen from the graveyard, which makes Bone Archfiend recurable. And at the low cost of a Foolish Burial of a Fiend type tuner, you can go ahead and modulate levels. So a Search Bone Archfiend off of Soul Resonator will allow you to get back on track to the level 2 tuner plus level 4 non-tuner path. Bone Archfiend is also one of the most important cards printed for Resonators. A searchable level 4 non-tuner that can special summon itself and recur itself from the graveyard is a godsend and something that all of us have been dying for. The fact that it's a Mad Archfiend retrain is even better. Bone Archfiend is at its best when it's being searched off of something like Soul Resonator, but if you don't happen to open another card to combo with Bone Archfiend, just know that Bone Archfiend can be a serviceable emergency starter in some situations. A normal summon of Bone Archfiend can get you into a combo that isn't that great, but at least you are still able to combo. This is something you can't say about any other non-tuner that Resonators have been known to play. Let's move on to our next card, and it is also another Resonator. It is Vision Resonator. Vision Resonator is a level 2 Dark Fiend tuner with 400 attack and 400 defense. And it has 2 effects. If a level 5 or higher dark monster is on the field, you can't special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Vision Resonator once per turn this way. And effect number 2, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 spell trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Vision Resonator once per turn. This doesn't read like the craziest card in the world, but trust me on this one, I can assure you Vision Resonator is invaluable for any Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend deck list. First off, it's a level 2 tuner, which is fantastic. It can also special summon itself for free, and the ability to search archetypical back row is a godsend. And fortunately for us, we're getting some really good search targets for that. The existence of Vision Resonator also makes it really easy for Konami to release new support for Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend. All they have to do is just slap the text Red Dragon Archfiend on there, and ta-da, it's searchable, so it becomes much more consistent and much more impactful. I plan on making another video detailing and evaluating all the search targets for Vision Resonator, but don't worry, we're going to go over all the good ones in this video, because unfortunately, or fortunately, all the good search targets are new support cards. A couple things to keep in mind about Vision Resonator is that its effect to special summon itself from the hand does not activate. For those of you new players, this is what you will hear colloquially called an inherent summon. Also, the ability for it to summon itself doesn't rely on you having the level 5 or higher dark monster. Vision Resonator just cares that there's a level 5 or higher dark monster on the field. Could be yours, could be your opponent's. That's enough for Vision Resonator. Let's move on to our next target. And this might be a little bit of cheating. Technically, this isn't Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend support, but it does a function that we find very valuable. And I'm talking about Earthbound Prisoner Stone Sweeper. It has a couple effects, but we really only care about one of them, and we're just going to skip to it right now. You can discard this card, add 1 level 3 or lower Fiend tuner from your deck to your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except fusion and synchro monsters. It's a searcher for level 3 or lower Fiend tuners, which is all of our good Resonators, including the new Soul Resonator. The stats and specs on Stone Sweeper don't matter, we only care that it searches our best cards for us. That's its role in any Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend deck list, as a consistency tool. Let's move to the extra deck to talk about our next card, Scar Red Dragon Archfiend, or as I've taken to calling it, the Chaos Ruler Consolation Prize. Scar Red Dragon Archfiend kind of breaks the mold for RDAs. Most of the RDAs, or level 8 Dark Dragon Synchro monsters that we have access to, are good aggro tools that can remove threats from your opponent's board. They don't really serve much of a purpose going first, except to be a level 8 body you can climb out of into something much more useful. Scar Red Dragon Archfiend still only allows you to climb out of it into something far more useful, but its effect really changes the game for Resonators and increases the potency of their combos. So let's go ahead and read Scar Red Dragon Archfiend's effects. It's a level 8 Dark Dragon Synchro monster with 3000 attack, 2500 defense, everything you would expect from a Red Dragon Archfiend. It requires 1 tuner and 1 or more non-tuner dark monsters. This card's name becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while on the field or in the graveyard. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. This is treated as a synchro summon. Then, if this card was sent to the graveyard as a synchro material for a Dark Dragon synchro monster, you can destroy all of your opponent's deck position monsters. You can only use this effect of Red Dragon Archfiend once per turn. The ability for Red Dragon Archfiend to just tutor Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck for free is incredible. It saves so many resources and so many steps for so many combos that Red Dragon Archfiend is an auto-include and kind of a godsend for the list. As a side note, I'm really loving that Konami with some of these 5D Signer Dragon retrains is incentivizing all of us to try and play the originals. I really love that little bit of card design. Let's not sleep on the fact that Red Dragon Archfiend can also be Lightning Storm going second. That's also kind of nuts too. A few things to keep in mind about Red Dragon Archfiend is the non-tuner dark monster requirement. Please keep that in mind. If ever you're wondering why you can't summon it, that's probably why. Another cool thing to keep in mind is that its effect to special summon the Red Dragon Archfiend from your action deck is treated as a synchro summon, which means the OG RDA you're cheating from your action deck has been properly summoned, which means you can revive that card from your graveyard or the banish pile, and it also has all other sort of implications. That'll do it for our newest level 8 Dark Dragon Synchro. Let's move on to our next card. And unfortunately, I have to be that Yu-Gi-Oh player for a minute.
Actually, Absolute Power Force is a terrible card.
Alright, now that we've gotten that out of the way and out of my system, I try not to be too negative about cards, especially when I'm evaluating them, because I believe a significant portion of that evaluation needs to happen in context. The context I typically evaluate cards from is in a competitive setting when you're trying to give yourself every opportunity to win and do your best. And unfortunately, playing Absolute Power Force does not do that for you. I don't want to spend too much time being negative in this video because I think it'll kind of kill the vibe. But if you're interested in hearing more about why I think Absolute Power Force is a bad card, please stay tuned for the Vision Resonator video. The quick version of why I think Absolute Power Force is bad is because it's a battle trick, and battle tricks don't really work in modern competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's move on to our next card in Fiendish Golem. And this card is alright. It's alright. It's okay. I really want to love this card because I love the design and I love what Konami tried to do with it. But unfortunately, it just misses the mark a little bit. So Fiendish Golem is a normal trap, and you can target one monster on the field, 2,000 or more attack. Banish it until the end phase of the next turn. Then, if you activate this card while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it, you can set one Fiendish Chain from your deck or graveyard. I wish we lived in a world where this card was good, because I really do love the design. I like that it's a removal tool that gets you a bonus effect as well. Unfortunately, since Fiendish Golem is a normal trap card, it's only really good when going first. And even then, it's arguable that if you know you're going first and you're including Fiendish Golem, there's way better cards you can include anyways. The setting of Fiendish Chain is also really cool, but I don't really know if Fiendish Chain is something you also want to be including in your deck list in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Like I said, all this is unfortunate, and I wish we existed in a world where this card was really good, but unfortunately for now, since it's a normal trap, it's just kind of okay. I really wish this was a quick play spell, because if it was, I think it would be a really good staple for budget and newer players. But unfortunately, it's doomed to normal trap purgatory, where it's a good card, but not good enough to win the duel on its own, so it doesn't see play. Alright, that's enough time being negative. Let's get hype again and talk about a good trap card. It is Red Zone, the one you heard me mention earlier. Red Zone is a continuous trap card. When your opponent activates a card or effect while you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a synchro monster that mentions it, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. You can target one of your banished Dark Dragon synchro monsters, special summon it. You can only use each effect of Red Zone once per turn. This card is incredible. One of the things I love the most about Red Zone is that it layers the board for Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend. One of the weaknesses of the deck archetype before was it really only had the ability to consistently put out monster-based interaction, which left it very vulnerable to certain types of counters and board breakers. Now that Red Zone is a thing, and Vision Resonator is also a thing, we have access to searchable disruption from the back row. If you pair that up with something in the hand, and the monster-based interaction that we're already getting out of our Red Dragon Archfiends out of our Dark Dragon Synchros, you now have a pretty formidable board. Red Zone isn't so crazy that it's going to win you the duel on its own, but if you look at it from the lens of something like a Sword Soul Blackout, then it looks and feels a lot better. The bonus ability of Red Zone is something that I also really love about the card. The ability to recycle one of your banished Dark Dragon Synchro monsters is really good. It comes up a lot, and you can even tailor your build to take advantage of that effect. You may just see me take advantage of that interaction in a deck profile coming soon. Alright everybody, let's end this video by talking about one of the cards I am the most excited about, and that is Crimson Gaia. Crimson Gaia is a continuous spell card, and during your main phase, you can add one Red Dragon Archfiend or one card that mentions it from your deck or graveyard to your hand, except Crimson Gaia. When your Red Dragon Archfiend declares an attack, you can change all monsters your opponent controls to face down defense position. If a monster on the field is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Crimson Gaia once per turn. So in typical modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Card design, you get 3 effects, one of which you really want, and 2 of which that are kind of nice niche options that come up from time to time. And the reason why we're playing this card and the effect that we really want is the ability to add one Red Dragon Archfiend or one card that mentions it from your deck or graveyard to your hand. This card has the ability to search Red Zone, Vision Resonator, and most importantly, Soul Resonator. Having Crimson Gaia turns the 1.5 card combo for Soul Resonator into a 1 card combo, because you can go ahead and use Crimson Gaia, search out the Soul Resonator, normal summon the Soul Resonator, add the Bone Archfiend, and then Bone Archfiend can send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard. If you're willing to part with the second and third effect of Crimson Gaia, you can send the face-up Crimson Gaia from your field to the graveyard to special summon Bone Archfiend. A 1 card combo for Resonators is something I've been asking for a very long time, and I love that we finally have one. Even if you're not trying to use Crimson Gaia for a 1 card combo, just having more searchers does so much for the deck. Consistency was also a big issue, and I think it's safe to say that those issues are now resolved. The second and third effect of Crimson Gaia are also pretty decent. In some of my playtesting, they've come up. Especially the one where you can change all your opponent's monsters to face down defense position. If you have the original Red Dragon Archfiend on your field, that turns your OG RDA into a board wipe. The ability to put that much pressure on your opponent from just an OG RDA is something that's incredible. It's also worth mentioning that that second effect of Crimson Gaia lines up nicely with some of our extra deck monsters that aren't originally named Red Dragon Archfiend. Something like Scar Red Dragon Archfiend becomes Red Dragon Archfiend while it's on the field, and same thing with Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. The ability for any of those monsters to just Book of Eclipse your opponent's field is incredible. The third effect to bring back Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard is also something that comes up pretty frequently. Resonator Red Dragon Archfiend has no shortage of ways to destroy monsters, and getting a big body back for basically free is great. Alright everybody, and I think that's all I wanted to cover with today's video. If you enjoyed it, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. In the next video, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be covering some of the usual suspects for Resonators, reintroducing everybody to the old cards you may have forgotten about or never even bothered to read in the first place. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Be safe, have fun everybody.